channel. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about my thoughts and theories and opinions on Scream 7. So this is going to be quite, I wouldn't say quite the video, but it will be a video that I hope that you guys can, at least in the comments below, tell me what you think about my opinions and thoughts, and maybe what your theories are too. So in this one, we'll even see if maybe we will even get, say, Jenna Ortega. She is a busy girl right now, so there's many thoughts that if they are going to wait for Jenna Ortega, that they might wait a little bit longer. So maybe we won't get a 2024 release if they want to get it out right away. If they wanted to wait, it might be 2025 until we get Scream 7. But me personally, I don't want to wait. So even if we get Jenna Ortega in a small form, maybe if it happens again and we get Ghostface coming back, maybe Sam just kind of, they mentioned Jenna, just kind of like they mentioned Sydney in Scream 6. And just kind of say, hey, maybe have her talk on the phone or something and say, no, Tara, don't come. Sorry about the motorcycle. Don't come. I'm okay. This is Sam talking to Tara. Please don't come. Like maybe, after the events of Scream 6 or something, maybe Sam kind of backed off about being a little bit overprotective because now she knows that her sister can, protect herself pretty much. Well, technically, if you really think about it, Tara did protect herself and survived Scream 5 as well as Scream 6. So anyways, maybe Sam kind of backed off a little bit, and maybe Sam, along with maybe the twins or something, decides to stay in school, finish her degree, whatever. And then maybe Sam, maybe she doesn't necessarily move out of New York City, maybe to kind of let Tara be a little bit more self-resilient and independent. Maybe Sam decides to move out and not live with Tara while she's going to school. So then that way maybe Sam can, maybe Sam could be going to school too to, get a better paying job, whatever. But maybe Sam could be not necessarily moving back to Woodsboro, but like maybe she decide to take up a good job in like New Jersey or another part of New York or something, and she tries to see Tara as much as she can on the weekends. And since Tara's still technically going to school, getting her degree, maybe the twins lives with Tara and stuff. So at least Sam could feel a little bit better that she has Mindy and Chad with Tara, But then something happens. What if, and this has been said, what if for some reason or another, and I kind of like this theory, maybe to kind of bring the twins back at least, and not Tara or anything like that, because it doesn't really apply to Tara. It applies to the twins. That maybe Ghostface comes and attacks the twins' mom, Martha Meeks Martin. And then that way that we can get, Heather Matarazzo back. We saw a glimpse of her in Scream 5 for a hot second, but what if maybe Ghostface comes back for her, and that kind of gets the twins to come back to Woodsboro, along with maybe Sam kind of helping Chad and Mindy out with, their mom and stuff. And what if, Tara just couldn't get out of maybe midterms or something, like she had to like stay and study and take important tests, that she couldn't make up. So that could be like a good way for not necessarily needing Tara in the movie. And of course I don't know, I just made that up just now. So, I'm not a writer really, obviously, even though I want to be, but like that would be, something that they can work with. Of course, the writers, better writers, can make it, better, but that could be something. And that's what I've also heard technically, is that that could be something to bring them back to Woodsboro, even though I've also heard that they're just going to keep it in New York, and because it's nice to change it up a bit and not have it be in Woodsboro all the time. But at the same time, even though it's been in Woodsboro in 4 of the movies and it's only been in New York one time, I don't know if you would want to do New York back to back, because, they tried New York to be different. And actually, I lied. They didn't have the Scream franchise in all 4. Oh, in 4 of the movies, they actually had Scream 2 set in college in Ohio. I think it was in Ohio. So they had Scream 1 and 2. No, Scream 1 and 3 in Woodsboro slash. Actually, technically, in Scream 3 too. In Scream 3 also, they had it not in just Woodsboro. Actually, they set Scream 3 in Hollywood. So it wasn't technically Woodsboro. So they have done other locations other than Woodsboro. It just happened to be in 1 and 4 and 5. That was technically all set in Woodsboro. So, with all that being said, you can complain that technicalities. They did have Scream 2 be in Woodsboro or Scream 3 in Woodsboro for a second, but maybe bringing it back to Woodsboro and still have like a New York connection, with Tara being, staying back in New York for college and couldn't get out of tests and midterms and blah 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 and whatnot, and you hear Sam talking to her on the phone, and that could be another way for not necessarily having Jenna on set. Maybe they could just have her record some audio, and then that way, instead of having like her come out for a couple of days to film some scenes, or maybe they still can, but also have her record some audio for some lines and stuff. And another thing that could also happen that could kind of do it is maybe that could bring, like, maybe with the whole attacking slash kidnapping Martha Meeks Martin, to bring back the twins to Woodsboro, maybe, just maybe, to bring back, since we can't really technically have Jenna, we can finally have Sydney back. And I know that there's people like, oh, she was hardly in 5 and she wasn't in 6. Let's not have her anymore. But without Sydney, there would be no Scream franchise. And yes, I'm actually liking the new characters a lot. And I was so happy to have Kirby back for Scream 6. But anyway, for Sydney, though, to come back to Woodsboro, maybe, just maybe, and it could still be set. I've heard it's going to be set around Christmas, and I love that. So maybe, just maybe, with the twins coming back with their mom, maybe Sydney can come back because, one, she knows Martha Meeks too. Duh, hello, that would still be an easy thing because she knew Randy's sister. That's Randy's sister. Come on. Sydney knows Martha Meeks Martin. Come on. And if that isn't enough, maybe, just maybe, to also bring back Sydney's husband and kids, maybe along with Martha Meeks Martin, the ghost faces like kidnapped Mark and the kids, or at least the kids. So then that way it brings back not only Sydney, but Mark and Cade. And then, of course, Sydney is friends with and knows Martha Meeks. So it's not just to save her kids, but also to save Randy's sister. Because even though they weren't like as close as friends as, say, like Sydney and Tatum, I'm sure Sydney still, finds Martha Meeks Martin like as a friend, at least like a close friend, because Randy was her friend. So if Sydney was going over to Randy's house, then Sydney and Martha at least talked and got to know each other, obviously. Martha came to them in Scream 3 to give them the videotape of Randy. So there you go. And so maybe that could be something to bring both the twins back and also Sydney and her husband and kids and whatnot. So, and then that way we can, those that are diehard fans and love Sydney can get Sydney back. And then those of you who love Jenna Ortega can at least get something. Like, I'm sure that they'll probably bring Jenna Ortega, if her schedule allows, a couple days to film a couple of scenes and maybe have her record a couple of audio to talk to Sam. And Sam can help the twins because the twins' mom is being kidnapped. So, and also to kind of correlate as well to kind of help Sydney because Sydney helped Sam help Tara. Like, maybe it's to also help Sydney because Sydney helped Sam help save Tara. So it is all like full circle, you know? And so far that's kind of my thoughts. And this is actually stuff I'm just thinking of now, but also I don't mind not having as much as I love Jenna Ortega and I want her to be in as much as possible, but we, like I said, we, and what other people have said, we don't know what will come of it, you know, the even though some of the strike is over, there is still some strike going on. Like, I think it's the actor strike that's still going on. Yes, the writer strike, or at least I think it's what the movie. I think it's the movie, like the movie writer strike is over. I think the TV show writer strike is still going on, or vice versa. But and the actors strike is still going on because they want fair wages because as we all know, streaming is like going around right now, and don't get me wrong, I love streaming because it's so nice to just be able to watch one of your favorite TV shows or movies on your favorite streaming platform, but it's a little different. I think I'm not 100% like knowledgeable in the streaming game or anything like that, but from the streaming standpoint is different than like the movie theater like having a movie being shown in theaters. Like with that, those showing movies and stuff in theaters is something I know a little bit more about than the streaming and stuff because one, I work at a movie theater, and just from what I've seen in like other YouTube videos about the movie industry, like in the movie theater industry. But with the movie theater industry, when they put a movie out in theaters, and some people know this, but others who do not know this, when a new movie comes out in theaters, like let's say the new Marvel movie is coming out, the first weekend / week or two, let's say, and that's why people think that the movie theater is making so much money is because they get all 100% money from the ticket sales. Not true. So the first weekend / first 2 weeks, about I would say 80%, and somebody who is actually more in the know of the movie theater industry, comment down below and give more of detail of this kind of a situation, whether in the movie theater industry or the streaming industry. But from what I understand, in the movie theater industry, the first weekend / first couple of weeks or so, the studio actually gets 80% or so of the ticket sales. So that leaves about, I would say, 20% to 15% of the ticket sales goes directly to the movie theater. So if you think that 100% of the ticket sales are going to the movie theaters, no, not a thing. So after about week 3 or 4, about a month in, it reduces. So they reduce the amount of money from the ticket sales going to the studio and puts more towards the movie theaters. So instead of 80% to the studios and 20% to the movie theater, it kind of drops a little bit each week after the first couple 3 weeks. So at week 3/week 4, it's about maybe 60% to the studio and 40% to the um, movie theater. And then after about 5-6 weeks, it goes to about 50-50. And then maybe um, about 2 months or so, 7-8 weeks, 2 months after it being in the thing, about eight, then it kind of flips, and then maybe 80% goes to the movie theater, and then the 20% goes to the studio. Um, and then, as you know, tickets are like astronomical now. Like it's like 10, 15, actually $10 for like just a matinee before 5 or 6, and then it goes up to like 15 to 20 after 6, and sometimes even more depending on where you live. Like if you live in like some big place like New York or California and stuff. But yeah, like 80% of that $20 ticket, however, I'm not good at math, however much, like I would say, what, like if your ticket is $20, maybe like 17% of that ticket goes to the freaking studios, and then like $3 goes to the movie theater, which is why, now that you think about it, why the concession stand is so freaking expensive, because that's how they make like not 80% of their 90% of their money is through the concession stands, and why it's so high marked up and stuff. Um, which now you kind of understand a little bit more. And so that kind of stuff I understand a little bit more, because the movie theaters have been around for decades, 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 decades. And with streaming, it's newer. And so with newer things, there comes new ways of dividing the goods, dividing the money between studios and the streaming services and the actors. It's not as cut and dry or black and white as the movie theater industry. So, like, you can have X amount of streams for a show or a movie, but then it's kind of different to divide up the goods that way, I think. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, correct me if you know more about the streaming um, algorithm, I guess you would say, because I know more of like the movie theater industry when it brings out new movie releases and this and that. But I understand that for every stream, that's kind of like, them viewing a movie in a movie theaters, if you really think about it. But I'm not sure what the ratio, like I said, like for like the first 2 weeks, you have 80% of the ticket price going to the studios, and then you have 20% going to the um, movie theater. So I don't know that whole division with when it comes to streaming, how they divide the goods, the profit, whatever. Because with the movie theater industry, it's just two people getting it. You have this movie studios as well as the movie theater. But now you have a third person coming in. You got the studio. Well, I mean, technically both of them do. You have the actors, but like with but it's kind of different too, because with the movies and TV shows on streaming, there could be more than one streaming service that may be streaming that specific movie slash that specific TV show. You can have like there's like hundreds of streaming services. What if like maybe let's say that there's 200 streaming services, and that kind of sounds about right. There's a lot, and let's say 100 of those streaming services have all the same movies. Like it has like let's say, since it's spooky season, let's say they have the original Halloween. You have 100 of the 200 streaming services having Halloween on there. How each, since it is technically the same movie and you have so many streams on all of them, of that same movie, it's kind of hard to and divvy up the cost of the streamings and stuff. And I understand it would be similar to all the different locations for the movie theaters, but what you have to understand is that there's probably less movie theater chains than there are streaming services, because the biggest um, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I know each state even has their own um, may even have their own personal state only movie theater. Like I know here in Utah, and those of you in Utah know this theater chain really well, but they know we in Utah we have our own personal um, movie theater chain called Megaplex, Larry H. Miller Megaplex, and it's obviously owned by one of the richer families in the state. Larry H. Miller, if you don't know who that is, his family they still kind of own like a small percentage of the Jazz, but they formerly owned technically the Utah Jazz basketball team. Like I said, they do own like 20% of the Jazz or something like that, but they sold a majority of the Utah Jazz. But obviously, they own a lot of other businesses like the Megaplex movie theater. They own pretty much run a lot of other businesses in the state as well. So definitely have people, and they do have all throughout Utah. They have their own personal movie theaters, including just one in Mesquite, Nevada. So um, and I know each state probably has their own personal one, and it's kind of hard to divvy the goods up. But like I said, it could be different with each streaming service platform. But anyways, I'm getting off topic. I'm sorry, it's the ADHD in me. See, I can't talk. I'm sorry, and I'm a little tired. Still, I got up really early today. But I think that would be a good idea to kind of incorporate everyone, like from Sydney to the twins to bringing back Martha. And heck, what if Kirby comes to help solve the case of who, who stole the kids and who took Martha? You know what I mean? Just kind of help, and then also help Sydney too, because she's Jill's cousin and this and that. And she kind of felt bad and responsible for the attack on Sydney, and attack on maybe helping Sydney will just kind of help fill the guilt. I don't know. And plus, it would just be nice to have Kirby back to just kind of help everyone. And then, of course, Gail will probably come as well, just because she wants the story and stuff. But in this one, speaking of Gail, I wouldn't mind, as much as I love Courtney Cox, and I think she's an amazing actress, and I love, love, love Courtney Cox and whatnot. I just think that it's time that Gail passed away. So hopefully, maybe Gail could be the opening kill, and that could also bring back Sydney, you know, and then along with maybe Mark Kincaid coming, what if Mark Kincaid was kidnapped as well as the kids, and then also so was Gail. So maybe however many kids Gail and Mark, I'm not Gail and Mark and Sydney have. So Gail and Mark and Kate and Sydney's kids, they're all kidnapped, but they are all in a room, and maybe the kids are separated from Gail and Mark and Kincaid. And what if Gail is killed in front of Mark and was glad that the kids wasn't there to witness that? But that could just bring back Sydney, and then those that want Gail dead can have her dead. And then on top of that, what if maybe at all this point, what if, and I've heard a lot of people say they probably want, like people will say, oh, I want Sam to be the killer because she'll be just like her dad. It'll be like, like, father like daughter. But what if, and I've heard people say that they want Tara to be the killer. So what if maybe, um, this could also, here's another thing to have, Tara stay back in New York to, because she's, doing midterms and stuff and studying, while Martha, Mark, and I still say maybe Mark, Martha, Gail, and the kids, they all can come. So then that way it brings everyone together. It brings, the twins and Sydney and stuff like that. And maybe, just maybe, since our hunch from since Scream 5, maybe Tara was in cahoots with Amber and Richie and was hiding it really well. And maybe just the whole staying behind, doing tests and midterms, maybe that was just her way of, saying, hey, I'm going to do this. And maybe she actually did follow them and actually is a ghost face, along with, like, say, Stu. I would want Stu to come back to be a killer and be like the mastermind of all. Because, but then at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, why would Amber therefore hurt, um, Tara, who was in on it with Amber and Richie? So, that's where I'm like, But maybe, just maybe, Amber thought that she was actually going to kill Tara. Or maybe it could be that maybe, Tara, um, Amber purposely didn't kill her to kind of send her a message of like, hey, you are new to this. Richie and I have been doing this a lot longer. This is your warning. Don't try to overpower us. We are the bigger ones. You're just a new pawn in our scheme. Like, you're not in it as much as Richie and I. So maybe it's just Amber's way of trying to, tell Tara not to be a little bit more aggressive or get a little too cocky when it comes to this. And what if maybe Tara is similar to Jill in the sense that she would do anything to not just be famous, but like, what if she just wants to be the type of person who wants to be famous, like Jill was? Like, she's just crazy. And Jill was crazy. She was. I'll give Jill that. Even though Jill wasn't my favorite Ghostface, like everyone says she almost got away with it. I don't believe that. I think that she, in a sense, was smart, and more smart in the sense that she got other people to do like pretty much most of the dirty work for her. But that's not her really being smart. Like, that's just her being lazy. Like, she's just somebody who wants to be famous just to be famous, like a Kardashian or a Hilton, like Paris Hilton or whatever. And that is just the stupidest reason. And I think that's another reason why, I don't really like Scream 4 as much as everyone else may, because Jill, I don't think, was that good of a ghost face. She, and I'm like thinking to myself, all that effort that she put in to get other people to do their work for her and stuff, she could honestly get her own job at being like a model or an actress and be famous already, like, or have a good job where she's making loads of money. Like, the effort and time that she could have done that to have other people, she would have already been loaded with money. And so anyway, so maybe it's just like a trick, just, from Tara to, be a ghost face. And maybe she actually knew kind of all along that Tara, or that, her friend Amber was a ghost face, and was also making it a point to like, um, get, get people I don't know. Don't know exactly what I'm even saying. So if I'm sounding incoherent, I'm sorry. But maybe she was just trying to kind of reverse it out to where maybe she pulled the reverse Uno on Amber and Richie and they died. And what if she's in cahoots with not only Stu but her mom? Because what if maybe that Tara was just so upset with Sam leaving her, that, and all of a sudden hearing that her sister was also the daughter of a serial killer, she was like so upset. Maybe just Tara was just so upset for Sam leaving her and ignoring her for 5 years and not doing that. So maybe her mom, plus her mom's crazy. Their mom is crazy too because their mom was in love with a serial killer. So maybe it runs in the family. Tara, too. Like, I mean, sure, Sam has Billy as her dad, but the girls both share the same mom, and the mom clearly is crazy. So maybe Christina Carpenter is just as crazy as Billy. And sure, Sam has both Christina and Billy, but still, Tara can be crazy too because, she has the same mom as Sam. So just saying, between Tara being the daughter of Christina, who is clearly crazy, and we have not even seen yet, and maybe they're in cahoots. And speaking of that, what if, this has also been told that Christina Carpenter may be in cahoots and with Stu now. And so therefore, if Christina is in cahoots with Stu, maybe so is Tara and was brainwashed. Not only because her mom was crazy, but she was also sad and mad that Sam abandoned her. So there you go. That could be a lot of reasons. So that could also have it be to where Tara isn't in the scenes as much. That, it's just being said that she's in New York still studying and whatnot. But then at the end, surprise, surprise, along with not only Stu and Christina Carpenter, but there's Tara too. It could be another three for like a three. Like they could be the main three Ghostface. Like it's well, not so much a surprise for Stu and Christina because everyone wants Stu back to be the main killer, but like to have finally meet Christina Carpenter, and then it'll be kind of like a fun little, oh my gosh, Tara's the killer too. Like that'll be kind of a fun little surprise. And so I think so far with my rambling, I apologize for rambling, and I'm sure that not even half of what I'm saying makes sense. So I apologize. But put down in the comments below what your thoughts are of not only my thoughts and ramblings, but like maybe what you think might happen. Um, Also, don't forget to like and share if you want, or subscribe if you want.